What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Gonna make a quick video here on two things. First is going to be Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Some comments that Anthony Joshua made after the fight with Joseph Parker, and where, if I interpret this correctly, and I might not, I think Anthony Joshua made a statement that essentially said he feels like he's underpaid, and that he continually makes compromises to other fighters. He and Eddie Hearn talked about overpaying other fighters, and he wants a pat on the back, and feeling like, can I get a bonus? How about me getting a bonus? And I feel him. I don't say that I'm as hard as it is to appreciate a guy who makes $18 million in a fight, thinking that he's underpaid. I can understand where he's feeling, and I think that there is a bonus that he could look forward to. But before I do that, then in the second part of this video is I'm going to talk about something, and I'm going to put it after I get done with this subject, so people that feel like kind of rolling off and going on to another videos can do that. But I'm going to discuss something, man, that I find really interesting, and that is conversations that take place about certain organizations, certain organizations of boxing fans, specifically the LDBC, and the comments that people make about their input in boxing. And also Anthony Joshua, in his speech, said something that I thought was very funny, very interesting and telling into the effects that channels like that go by new media and the LDBC are having in the boxing world, and the responses that you get from other boxing channels. But like I said, that's going to be the tail end of the video. The crux of this is going to be about about a substantive boxing issue, which is Anthony Joshua being underpaid and feeling as if they want to be done overpaying people. So it might wind up in a situation where Deontay Wilder might have to take less money to fight Anthony Joshua than Joseph Parker earned. Now I'm gonna read the quotes from Eddie Hearn and from Anthony Joshua that lead me to believe that this is what their stance is on it. Now, before I do that, though, please subscribe. I'm going to have a live stream later today. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. If you hit the bell icon, then you can participate, or you'll know when the live stream happens. And that way, because I don't always plan them out, the timing of them, but we got a very mature, a very knowledgeable group of people that watch and participate in the live streams. And so, I hope you accept my invitation to join the live stream and to get notified by hitting the bell icon. Well, you have to subscribe, then hit the bell icon, and make sure the notifications are that you get all of the notifications, not just occasional notifications. So let me go to an excerpt of after the press conference. This is an article by Keith Eidick that came out this morning, but he quoted Anthony Joshua. The 28-year-old Joshua is certain his unprecedented drawing power in the United Kingdom gives him negotiating leverage over Alabama's Wilder, the WBC champion. It's the same thing always, Joshua said, referring to overpaying opponents following his unanimous decision defeat of Joseph Parker on Saturday night in Cardiff. So I said, let me get all of these belts now, and then I'm going to be one of the most powerful men sitting on this side of the negotiation table. So why do I have to do all this work and still give someone a bonus? Can I get a bonus now? You know what I mean? Can I get a little pat on the back now? So that's how I see it as well. It's a bit of a catch-22. Hearn sounded second Joshua's take on negotiating for the Wilder fight. From the debut, we have had to overpay opponents, Hearn said. It's gone all the way up to the 21st fight. And now you flip that Don King quote, and say, no, 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 Wilder will get what he deserves because he hasn't worked this hard to get these titles and to get in the position Joshua has gotten and the atmosphere he's gotten tonight just to give it. It's not a charity. New Zealand's Parker reportedly earned a guaranteed roughly $7 million dollars to travel Cardiff to fight Joshua, who reportedly was guaranteed approximately $18 million. Wilder will want significantly more than what Parker earned to fight in the UK. Okay? Then it goes on. I think that it has to happen in 2018. Otherwise, we're getting into some major problems with politics and the mandatory. So it's just a case of whether it happens next or if we fight in the summer or what happens then. But like AJ said, if they stepped up and actually were serious about the fight and serious about a deal that we were more than fair to offer them, it could happen next. But with them, they're so erratic and unpredictable. I don't know what to believe. So the last part of it is, yeah, that's correct. Wilder said, referring to facing Wilder. I think that 2018 is always a time to capture all the belts. We're one away. It's like the big question that was asked after the fight, and I spoke about it then. I just said that I'm not in the business of hype, talk. I love to kind of go to America with Eddie or Rod McCracken and look at the landscape and see how serious they are, and all this behind closed doors because no negotiations can go on over social media and YouTube channels and stuff. But I feel like in terms of when you're doing serious business, you have to get it done in confidential privacy to discuss terms and conditions and so on and so forth. Then we can see how serious people are about taking the fight. Now, all that's fair. And I think that's all is correct. So this isn't going to be a situation where this video where I have really much to argue with, or I intend to argue with, disagree with what Anthony Joshua was saying, or Eddie Hearn. They are underpaid. And I would be more than happy to have him make a bonus. Now, well, let me rephrase this. I'm not sure if he's underpaid because my understanding of it is if you make $53 million in the entire ecosystem of the fight is $53 million. And that's the Klitschko fight, right? I don't think this with Joseph Parker was as big as the Klitschko fight, but I don't know for sure, so I'll just use that. And you say that's $53 million, of which Anthony Joshua got 30%, roughly 32% because if it's $50 million, 5% of that is $5 million. 5 times 3 is 15, right? So that's roughly 35% of the entire revenue for the fight got paid to Anthony Joshua. That is before any other costs. Now, that doesn't seem underpaid to me. That seems like you're getting a nice percentage of the money that the fight earned. But he does deserve that, without a doubt. Definitely in the UK, he deserves that. Now, does Joseph Parker deserve 7% of, what is that, 10, roughly 12%, right? So the whole total fight purse is what, 50, like I said, 35, 47% of the fight gets paid to the fighters. I think that's about fair. Half of the money that comes in for it are directly paid to the two people that people want to see. But Anthony Joshua feels like he's underpaid and that they've been overpaying people and they don't want to overpay anybody anymore. So if it comes to the UK, then Deontay Wilder can expect less than $7 million for that bout, which would be less than, right? Because if they're saying they overpaid people, they also say that they overpaid Vladimir Klitschko. And I think Vladimir Klitschko actually might have made a little bit more money than Anthony Joshua, but I'm assuming that that's not the one that they mean. I'm assuming that they're talking about all of the other challengers. You take Vladimir Klitschko out of that equation, and you just say then Carlos Takam and Joseph Parker. If Joseph Parker is guaranteed $7 million, then you're looking at what Deontay Wilder. It's under $7 million they want to pay Deontay Wilder to come through there. Okay, if that's what the numbers are and that's a fair, I have no issue with Deontay Wilder fighting Deontay Wilder fighting Anthony Joshua for $5 million, $7 million, $2 million seems to me would be a little ridiculous because he was gonna make four for Povetkin. We'll see what his next fight winds up being and what his purse is, but still, at the end of the day, I don't care. You can pay him as long as you guys can agree to it and you actually sit down at the table and then somebody passes a profit and loss sheet and you do that, that's fine. Whatever happens, happens. And whatever you agree to is what you agree to. And if the lion's share of it goes to Anthony Joshua, then the lion's share goes to Anthony Joshua. And I think Anthony Joshua is absolutely 100% correct in saying that if you come to the United States, if you take Rob McCracken, that's just your trainer. I don't know why you would take your trainer in there, but okay, if you want to take and I don't even really understand why you would take your promoter in there. To tell you the truth, you should probably take your business manager in there. And if you bring your business manager to the United States and you sit down and talk to Deontay Wilder's business manager, then you guys can really do a cost-benefit analysis with the people whose main reason to do it is to see that what money is there and what amount of what would get paid to who. I don't think you need a promoter for that. In fact, that's kind of the problem that Anthony Joshua has is that he's got to bring his promoter because his promoter probably handles all that stuff for him. Deontay Wilder doesn't have to bring a promoter. He can just bring his manager because he separated the function between the promoter, who's Lou DiBella in most cases, and his financial manager, which I have to, not personal manager, but business manager, Shelly Finkel. And if they sit down and can make that happen, I think Anthony Joshua is 100% correct. Here's the thing, though. When he says, can you get a bonus? Yeah, dude, you can get a bonus. You can get a huge bonus because you're not all the way there, man. You're not. Anthony Joshua is financially, as far as reaching Anthony Joshua's potential, he's not all the way there. He's not even close to all the way there. When you have when you have a welterweight that can earn more money in a round than you make for your whole fight, you're not all the way there. Because he's not in America yet. If Anthony Joshua wants that bonus, if he wants to get that little something extra, beat Deontay Wilder. Beat him in the United States. Because that's where your money is. Don't do it in the UK. Do it in the United States. You will make more money in the United States than you will in the UK. And that's not even a question. Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin is a bigger fight than any fight that Anthony Joshua has ever had. And they're getting, now what happened with them is they take a smaller percentage of the cut. Canelo Alvarez takes a small, because he's got a promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, who's probably getting paid more money than he is. But the fight itself, Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez, is a much bigger fight financially than anything Anthony Joshua's been involved with yet. You take all the 100,000 people, 80,000 people, whatever, it would take 350,000 people in a stadium in the UK for Anthony Joshua to make as much. 300,000 people in a stadium in the UK. And it would probably take 5 million pay-per-view buys in the UK to equal 20,000 people in the T-Mobile Arena and 1 million pay-per-view buys in the United States. Because the pay-per-view buys in the United States are $70 a pop. 1 million pay-per-view buys is $70 million. The gate on 20,000 people for Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin was almost $30 million. That's $100 million for Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin versus $53 million for Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua wants a bonus, you got to leave the UK. That's your bonus. If you don't want to overpay him, don't fight in the UK. Not complicated, man. Don't fight in the UK. And this is not, and you can listen to this video all the way through. This is by way, shape, or form is this a hit video on Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua's serious about wanting a bonus, go to Vegas. There's your bonus. And you'll still probably get 1 million pay-per-view buys in the UK. How's that? What's your pay-per-view buys over there? 1 million? I mean, what do you get, a $20 or something like that? Maybe it's just say, and I don't know the numbers for sure. Say it's 20 million. Say it's 20 pounds or 20 quid. Say it's 20 quid. And 1 million, that's 20 million quid, right? Wasn't that close to $30 million? So it's $30 million, roughly $30 million in pay-per-view over in the UK, 70 million pay-per-view in the United States. That's 100 million there, plus a gate of 26 million. That's $130 million. There's your bonus, Anthony. There's your bonus. But you're not going to get that fighting Jarrell Miller in the United States. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get anywhere near that fighting Deontay Wilder in the UK. You're just not going to make as much money there, man. And that might be the reason why Eddie Hearn doesn't want to send profit and loss statements. Because if you look at the profit and loss statements and compare what you can get for a Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua fight in Vegas and what you can get in the UK, I mean, it's just not even close. And it's not close now. It's not close now. That's your bonus. That's your bonus. Take your bonus. Now, on to the second part of my subject. I hear all these people telling people to call shit down the middle and be objective, right? That's what I keep hearing. Oh, you're being biased. You're being biased. Well, am I being biased with this? Am I making this up? And here's the thing, man. You have channels that are trying to counteract promoters. And this is why I said I was going to do this at the tail end of the video, because I didn't want to be the gist of the video. I'm not a member of the LDBC. I'm not a member of New Media, right? I'm just me. I have some good peoples. I have some people, good relationships with cats in the LDBC, no doubt. I've been on their channel. They've been on my channel. They're welcome on my channel anytime to say whatever it is that they feel. But what they do in large part is they are a support mechanism for black fighters anywhere, because the mainstream media does not call it straight down the middle. I just read an article today where somebody calling themselves a boxing journalist tried to make an argument for Deontay Wilder being the 4th best heavyweight in the United States. They pointed out Dominic Brazil. Big Baby Miller, and Adam Kwanacki as better heavyweights in the United States of America than Deontay Wilder. And referred to Deontay Wilder as somebody who had bluffed his way to the heavyweight championship and 7 title defenses. And in half of a sentence just brushed off Luis Ortiz. And that's why I support those guys. And that's also for the content creators that try to, claim people being biased. I know personally of at least 25 different LDBC channels and 2 to 5 what I would call new media channels. And many of them are hybrid. And I've heard different opinions on different subjects I, the majority of the time. So you can't, if you create a video criticizing the LDBC and you don't name the person by their name, who specifically you're talking about, then you're being biased because you're drawing a conclusion based on a group of people that you can't even define. You don't know who they are. You are just criticizing what you perceive to be a movement. But in my opinion, it is just like Anthony Joshua said. When you have these guys referring to debates on YouTube, that means that these boxers are listening, that media people are listening, and that they're succeeding in their message. And so I'll end with this. Anthony Joshua, if you want that bonus, come to the United States and get that bonus. Peace.